Hello everyone, I'm back after about a year and a half gap. I'm coming back to do another gaming video on laptops. Last time I did gaming on the MacBook Air, and that did really well for me, so I thought if everyone wants to see another gaming laptop video, I'll come back at you stronger with an Msi GS60 gaming laptop. It's the Ghost Pro and it's the 3K, it's got a 3K screen. I bought this just as the 4K version came out, so probably wouldn't make a difference either way. I don't think this would be able to run games at 4K very well. It runs games at 3K decently, but 4K is a big step up and I don't reckon it'll be able to handle it. And to be fair, resolutions don't really differ that much in looks on the game. I mean, I play most games at 920 by 1080 still. And I'm getting nice graphics from the screen as well. So to be fair guys, unless you really want a good resolution screen, I'd recommend you get the 3K version, or in fact look for the 1080p version, but I couldn't find that one and I quite fancied having a better screen than my actual monitor behind this laptop. So going into the specs of the laptop, it's got an NVIDIA 970M graphics card, which is about 3 GB of graphics storage, or I don't know, I'm not that technical with the graphics, but you know what I mean, 3 GB of graphics. So I was really impressed with the graphics and how good they looked on this one. It's got 16 GB of RAM and the processor is an i7 4070 on something like that. And yeah, it runs games really well, and I've got a list of games to show you here. I've got Titanfall, Far Cry 4, Rise Son of Rome, Crisis 3, Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm going to be playing you like the high-end games so you can get an idea of how well it benchmarks. Because I've seen videos on YouTube that have shown game benchmarks, but they've only done the benchmarking within like the game. And it gives you a decent idea, but they don't mess about with the resolution of the screen, so you get an idea of like the proper frame rates you're getting within the game. And they don't actually play the game themselves; they just like let the benchmarking tool in the game do the job. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to be testing all these games out. Right guys, I'm back with Crisis 3. Just had to sign into Origin and all that good stuff. I have to say though, first of all, the speakers on this laptop are great. They've been designed by a company called Dyne Audio, and the keyboard is as well really good. Made by SteelSeries, also makes keyboards and mice for actual PCs. So yeah, really impressed with the actual quality of the laptop itself. Anyway, back into Crisis. I'll show you the graphics I'm running it at, and we'll get into the game. I've had good results from Crisis 3. Really high positive results. So this resolution's 920 by 1080. Like I said, I like to run games at this because you get the best results and it still looks really good. If you really wanted to run it at 3K, I'm going to show you that as well. But with Crisis 3, you'll want to turn the graphics down because it's just really too much to handle. Even on this high-end system, it is really hard to run. I don't know, just because it looks so good. I mean, I've got fraps in the top right hand corner, if you can see that. We'll be showing you all the frame rates and stuff. But like I said, I've been playing it for about an hour now, and the graphics look amazing, and my frame rate is stable. I mean, like last year's video, I was hitting frames about 25 frames a second down to about 10. And now I've been playing games at this frame rate, it's just not playable, guys, so I'll be able to tell you better this time. Because I think I've watched my video over again like 20 times and seen all the mistakes I made in that video. I've also got myself built into this laptop. It comes primary, right, just let me pause it so I don't spoil all the goodness for you. If you hold FN, and there's an option to switch gears, which means like, say if I'm playing a game, I'd have it in a higher gear to if I was just browsing or maybe doing some work on Microsoft Word, I'd have it on a lower gear. So you can really hear the fans start to kick in if you're running it on higher gear, because you use all your performance of your laptop if you're running at higher gear. That's for like actual proper gaming like this. So I have to say the fans work really well, and the sound of the fans is like really not bad at all. My only issue would be the heat of the bottom of the laptop. That's obviously normal when you got such a small laptop running high-end games, and the ventilation is good, but because the laptop's like metal itself, it's going to heat up anyway. But yeah, it's not scalding hot, but maybe cook a few eggs on it. So that's on like the bottom where the battery is, or where it's processing the most power. But it's not bad. If you had it on your knees, you might feel a bit of heat. But if you've got it on a surface like this, it'll be no problem. And especially if you've got your headphones in, again, you'd just be able to play the game and enjoy it. You wouldn't be able to hear any fans, obviously. The fans aren't even that loud now. That's probably as loud as they go. So I'll stop talking, just listen to the fans a second. So hopefully I've been able to pick up the fans. Probably will be able to, and they're probably really annoying now. But yeah, the fans are really good, the speaker's good, and the keyboard's good. But I like to use a wired controller for most games. Until I get myself a mouse, I'm looking at maybe a SteelSeries mouse or a Razer mouse or something like that, but I need to buy that yet. So I don't know, let's get into the game. So this is on, I don't know if I showed you that was running on the highest settings, so I'll just go into advanced graphics. I've got all these on very high, which is the highest. Motion blur, which doesn't really affect the graphics at all. Lens flares is nice. Anisotropic filtering is useful, but if we go into graphics, we want, yeah, it keeps changing my texture resolution down, even if I set it to high. So I might need to restart the game, but it's on very high now. System spec very high. What you don't want on for these laptops is anti-aliasing. You don't want that on because that will rip your frame rates to shreds. So we'll just leave that as disabled. And you see we're running at 45 frames a second. I mean, that is playable. That's higher than 360, 30 frames a second, and it probably is higher than most Xbox One games running today. I mean, if I turn the resolution down, I'd be able to bash that up to about 60 frames a second or higher, but or resolution or graphics even. In fact, I hope that looks alright on the recording device I'm using. It's a freaking Bloggy HD or whatever. I tried to use my Canon camera, but I don't have a freaking big enough storage. Well, SD card's not recording at size speed 10, which is annoying. So that's annoyed me, because obviously it won't look as good for you now. But hopefully it looks decent. I'm running at 1080p with 30 frames a second, so obviously you won't be seeing the full frames, but you can see how well it's being benchmarked at. So if I just quickly customise myself, I swear I did this earlier, but whatever. Sorted. Right, there we go. So yeah, I'm getting a stable 40 frames a second out of this. This is easily playable, unlike the last games I was showing you on the MacBook Air, but then again, the MacBook Air wasn't for gaming, was it really? It was more like for portability. Had a bit of power behind it though, and it was a good laptop. This laptop's got a 15.6 inch screen, if you was wondering how big the size of the screen was. I think that's probably the perfect size for a laptop. And just look at them graphics. You see the nice lens flare coming through on the right hand side. The grass looks really good. So let me try and get you a nice... See all these lens flares on the screen of your visor, it's really nice. Grass is running really smoothly. Yeah, so overall this game probably is one of the best looking on my laptop to date. And then again, this is like, I don't know, like 2 years old now or a year old. I think who made this game? I think it was like CryEngine. It's built on the CryEngine, which is a fantastic engine, as you can see. Not really paying attention to what I'm supposed to be doing. I'd have the sound turned up, but you won't be able to hear me talk. So enter. I think you get the idea of how this runs, guys. I mean, it's just hitting a stable 40 frames. So let's change it to. We'll change it down. Don't worry, I won't be taking as long with all the other games. So we'll change it down to 3K, and this is where it really starts smashing my frame rates. Just get rid of fraps. I hadn't really tried it with 3K properly yet. So yes. So as you can see, we're running about 24, 23 frames a second, which is a bit jerky. Probably not the most ideal to be running a game at. Oh, and I've just stood in a mine and killed myself. Alright, so I didn't see that. And you can just see how the explosions themselves like affected the frame rate. But yeah, this is 3K. You probably won't notice a difference that much in graphics. That's why I run it at 1080p. I normally just run most of my games at 1080p, but you can see it's on very high. Texture resolution is running at very high. I don't know why it changes back down to low. But yeah, 1920 by, we get a nice 40. Alright guys, I'm back. This is now Far Cry 4, running on the Dunia engine. This game gets really good results for me. I think the majority of games you'll see now will smash the frame rates at high settings. So you just want to see the really nice graphics that we get out of it. So let me see if I can get a bit of focus on the screen. Hopefully that looks alright for you guys. Right. So as you can see, I am now on the main menu. I won't bother signing in with Uplay. Screen's messing about for a bit. It doesn't really matter about that. My internet's been a bit dodgy. I just go into options and show you my video settings. So we're on again 1080p because that's what I run it at, and we're on ultra. And if you want to see the advanced settings, we've got pretty much everything on ultra apart from anti-aliasing, which I will get rid of because we don't want that on. Just really to boost up the frame rate a bit. Otherwise it'll just be running, and at that, to be fair, doesn't do anything at all, so there's no point of it being on and wasting frames for us. Yeah, so we're just loading into Far Cry 4 now. I think I've got about 2 hours through this game. I mean, I recommend you playing it. It's a sick game. It's really good. I mean, I did try and play Far Cry 3 on the MacBook Air, but it wasn't really having it. I was going to bring another MacBook Air video out, by the way, but I don't know why I didn't. I just felt like the games I was trying wasn't running at very good frame rates. But as you can see, whatever she has to say to me, I'm not sure, but we're running at that at 60 frames a second. I don't know if this is a cutscene. Probably is a cutscene. Class is a cutscene. Right, so it turns out I was literally loaded straight into the cutscene for a freaking another story mission. But as you can see, the graphics outside are pretty much pushing 60 frames a second, going down to about 50. Completely playable. I mean, it looks really good. So apparently I'm in a mission right now. But I just wanted to show you the quality of the graphics. So I'm running about 60. This is on 1080p. On ultra. The majority of settings are on ultra, apart from the anti-aliasing, which you don't need. Just let me boost this up to 3K for you, and I'll show you how that looks and how that runs on the actual frames. So you know, you drop down to about 30 frames a second. Completely playable again, but that's if you want to play it at 30 frames a second. If 30 frames a second doesn't bother you at all, I mean, it isn't jerky, but 60 frames a second is smoother. Hello guys, we're back with Titanfall. I'll just quickly show you the video settings, and I can get into a game for you really fast. So we can see the texture resolution, which basically the graphics is on insane, which looks incredible. All the settings are on high, which is the highest you can set them. If I just go across, it'll say low. That means like high is the highest you can set them. We're on resolution. We're on the 3K resolution right now, so this is probably the highest you can run it at on this laptop. And as you can see, we're getting 60 frames a second in the menu. And if I just quickly choose, I'm not sure. Like I've never played Titanfall before. I've just done the intro to it, so like the training and everything. Right, we'll start on this one because it says if you haven't played it before, start on this one, so we'll start on this one. So it's just searching for a match. Hopefully my internet's alright, because that can affect how well it runs, but Frame rate in the top right hand corner like usual. It's a bit smaller because I'm in 3K, but it's just there, and I'll read it out to you in case you don't see it. And we are back into the game. So let me turn the volume down for you so you can hear me properly. Rifleman, and we'll just choose assault. And as you can see on 3K settings and on insane, like I said, I've done the tutorial, so I know what I'm doing. We're running at about 40 frames a second, which is pretty freaking nice considering it's on 3K resolution. Pushing up to about 50 frames a second, maybe even could possibly get 60 frames a second, but haven't really, probably not, probably stick around 39 frames a second to about 50 frames a second, which is really good. They're my guys, retard. So I can get my Titan in now. Should we get my Titan in? Let's get my Titan in. I'm getting shot at a lot. I think that's an enemy Titan, to be fair. Yeah, he's just killed me. Right, don't judge me on how well I can play the game. Just really enjoy the beautiful graphics of Titanfall. I mean, it looks really good. I don't think the game is that hard to run. I've just spawned near enemies. Get myself a few nice kills out of this. And finish off with my handgun. In fact, get into my Titanfall, my Titan. And then I can burn some ass. There we go. Let's just spray. Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I've never played this online before, and it's pretty fun. And I'm just like, if you want to run it at 60 frames a second, we'll just boost up to 920 by 1080, and jobs are good, and you'll be running at 60 frames a second. But I can play this at 50 frames a second to 40 frames a second. It's fine. And yeah, it's really nice, really enjoyable, and it looks really nice. So you just look at the textures on the floor. Everything's really good. So yeah guys, Titanfall on the GS60 Ghost Pro, running at high settings on 3K resolution. Which is nice stuff, and I'll just see if I can change the resolution in game. No, you can't. So yeah, really good guys. I'll be back with the next game. Alright guys, we're back, and I don't know how I'm going to split this up, but this possibly might be the last game I'm going to show you. This is Rise, Son of Rome, another high hitting on the graphics side of things. Just let me scroll over to the graphics settings. I've been playing this earlier for a while. It's pretty fun, although it can be repetitive. I'll see how it goes along on the game. So we're actually running it on the highest settings. Got rid of anti-aliasing because that's a load of shit. This is on 3K resolution, and I've disabled all this. Native upscaling might be possibly decent to have, but whatever. So yeah, let's continue campaign, and I'll just show you that it runs at about 30 frames a second at 3K, possibly jumping from 25 to 30 frames a second, which is decent, but probably if you're like me now and have experienced 60 frames a second, you don't really want to go back. So you'll be happy to know that if you're running at 920 by 1080, you'll hit 60 frames a second, around about 50 to 60 frames a second depending on what's going on in game. The graphics are really nice, the textures are really sharp as well. I mean, these guys made Crysis 3, so you'd be expecting that from them. And I'd probably say that Crysis 3 was a little bit harder to run, but this is equally as good looking. As you can see, we're in the courtyard now. This is 3K, and we're about 32 frames a second at the moment, which is nice. Everything's looking sharp. The graphics are really good. Jaw dropping, if I can even speak. Jaw dropping. Shut up. Graphics look really good. So yeah, this is 31 frames a second on Rise on a Rome. Just collected the scroll, whatever. And yeah, these graphics are really nice. Just let me drop it down to. I mean, that is playable, but like I said, if you want a smoother experience, we'll go over and change it to graphics. We'll bash it down to this little one right here. Should easily just change down for us. There we go. And if I jump back onto the game, looks identical. Don't really see a difference in that. And we're running at about 60 FPS to 55 to 60. So, and this is a lot smoother, guys. You can immediately tell the difference when you're playing it on 60 FPS. So here's your dad. We're going to do a little fighting with him. These are just little collectibles, I guess. I'm guessing this is a pretty. The game itself is quite linear to like path following. There's no free roaming or anything. I'll just do a nice little execution move, and yeah, we're dropping down to about 47 frames a second on high settings, which is really good. You know, guys, I'm really impressed with how this laptop is capable of running games. I mean, I use this laptop more than I use my big gaming PC, you know, and just for the plain fact that I can run every game a lot better on this laptop, and the screen is a lot better. Probably should invest myself in a 4K monitor or something. I'm not sure, but like I said before, games wouldn't really run that well at 4K. Did I say that before? But if I didn't, there's a model of this laptop out which is a 4K laptop, and I wouldn't recommend buying that. I'd recommend you buying one of these ones, or the lower resolution screens, because you just wouldn't be able to run like games at that resolution, if you know what I mean. The graphics card would have to be bigger, and you'd have to have a better processor, but like, these games are looking pretty goddamn fine. And I wouldn't mind playing every single game like that I wanted to on these graphics.